Yes, people. What's going on in Seagull Talks Football? And we're back again with another video. Today's video, we're going to be just doing a last minute little debrief about the game, just speaking about the game quickly before the game. Martin's going to be joining us. We're going to have Deo in the building. And of course, my right-hand guy, Gunnar Soul, is going to be in the house also. We're just going to be talking about the game, a little bit about what lineup we want to see, what we think is going to happen. And of course, we're going to get into some of the other stuff that's going around with the news about injuries, potential signings. For example, Isaac has been linked to Arsenal continuously this past week, and today he had a magnificent performance in a 4-3 comeback versus West Ham. And yeah, let me just introduce the boys before we go any further. First, I have my guy with me, Gunnar Souls, in the house. Hope you're doing well, Gunnar Souls. Been a while. How you doing?
Hey, we're back. We're back cooking, lads. International break is done. At least 2 weeks yet of Ramadan football was international break, so I can deal with that. Got me to focus. But now we're back for the big one.
There you go. And then next, we also got my boy Deo. Recently met him, but honestly, he's a cool guy, and I always want to have him on. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, man. Gunnar Souls, how you doing? International break, like you said, is done. Finally. Jesus Christ. Like what? Like those 2 weeks were just like literally just boredom. Like boredom, nothing to do. But I'm glad we're back, and I'm glad Arsenal. The game's tomorrow. We'll talk about that. We're going to get into it. So yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, you know what? Let's begin. What's the first thing that you're thinking about going into this game, besides the title race and everything else? What's the first thing you're thinking about? Because to me, I'm just thinking, is Martinelli going to be available? Like that's the only thing I'm wondering. Who's going to play? What lineup are we going to go with? What are you guys thinking about that?
I'm thinking about this tactical chess match that's going to go on. This is going to be literally the definite of what we saw in the 1-0. Like Arteta and Pep just trying to combat each other's ideas, combat like the way that each other are trying to play. What substitutions are going to be made? Who's going to be the proactive one? Who's going to make and who's going to take that risk? Who's going to have the balls to change that game? For me, I'll be honest with you, I don't even mind the exclusions of Martinelli because I don't feel like it's going to come down to individual plays. It's going to come down to who makes the right move when, who expands, who opens up more, who opens up at the right times. And for me, the only reason they've had so much success in the past is because of Kevin De Bruyne. And Kevin De Bruyne hasn't been fit. So that could work in our absolute favor because that guy just knows how to play against us. He's definitely, I don't know, he must have a hatred deep inside for us. I don't know what it is, but I'm just waiting for this chess battle, this tactical battle that's going to happen in this game. It's going to be phenomenal.
What are you saying, Dale?
I mean, honestly, like I'm confident. I went back and looked at the 2 games where we've played them this season, barring whatever situation we played them in, whether it's the Community Shield or whether it's at the Emirates. I just wanted to watch the games tactically again and take a look at what was going on there. And in one of the games, I realized that our front 3 was actually Eddie Nketiah, Trossard, and Gabby Jesus. That's what we started with. So I'm not worried about who we start with. Honestly, like I'm that confident that Arteta's tactics against Pep's tactics in those 2 games, if they set up any way close to how they set up in those 2 games, we nick this game. Because also you have to remember we're coming in with an almost full squad, right? Like this time last season we had players injured, and if you look at the 2 games that we played with them previously in the season, both XGs were under 1. Both XGs, and they're very close. One was 0.96, the other was 0.98.
Let me stop you there for Deo for a second. I just want to introduce Martin in the building, the Man City fan in the house. Martin, how are you doing, bro?
What's up, Martin?
I've had better days with my internet. As you know, it go.
No worries, man. You know what? You're nice and clear with your phone. Don't worry. The phone. I always feel like the phone camera is better than my camera, anyways. So you're good. You're good. But yeah, Deo, what were you saying?
No, so I'm just saying, like, for me, like, I'm going in confident this time around. This is one of the few times, I mean, if not now, when can I say I'm going to go to the Etihad and be confident? This is the time I can say that. This is the one time I can look at the team and where we're at and how we're playing, understanding that we're going to face a juggernaut, regardless of how we look at them. Like, we are going to it's a massive game. It's a massive stadium. It's a difficult place to go and win. But the one thing I do know is I look at this team and I look at how they've grown and how we played this year in 2024. And yeah, I think we can go there and nick our point. We can go there, get our 3 points, and get out. It's possible.
You know what? Since Martin's here, I want to know what Souls and Deo. Do you have any questions for Martin about Man City or anything like that? Because obviously I have my questions, but I wanted to know if you guys had any questions before we begin.
No, I don't have any questions.
Is De Bruyne fit to play?
Martin,
Yeah, De Bruyne's been fit for he was never injured. It was this pulling out of international duty was just don't have him playing for 2 weeks. Let him rest, basically. He's been training all week with the under-23s. Him and Jack Grealish.
What about Ederson? Is Ederson going to play?
Ederson's fit, raring to go.
Is he? Okay, so Ederson's
The only
fit.
two missing,
Is it just Kyle Walker and what is it, Akanji? I think no Stone. Sorry,
Kyle Walker and Stones. Yeah, they're the only two missing.
So Jack Grealish is fit, and you think he's going to start also?
Yeah, because at first I didn't think he would start. Thought he'd go with Kovacic and Bernardo, but then at the press conference yesterday, Jack Grealish was there, and you don't generally bring out a player to talk for 10, 15 minutes if they're going to be on the bench and have no impact on the game. They don't tend to roll players out like that, so I imagine Jack Grealish will play.
I've seen Ainsley Maitland-Niles speaking ahead of a Europa League game and not even be used as a substitute. So these things do happen.
I do think Jack will play. The question for me will be whether it's Kovacic or Bernardo.
Do you see Doku starting? Because I'm looking on here right now. This is what this website has as the starting lineup. They have Foden on the right, Bernardo in midfield, and Doku on the left.
I'll be so shocked if Doku starts.
Okay, so Jack Grealish is starting for you on the left.
It'll either be Jack, and if not Jack, it'll be Bernardo with Kovacic. For me, Kovacic has to play to allow Rodri to anchor in that midfield and go forward. Bernardo, the Bernardo key is the real interesting one for me, because I'm not sure if Bernardo plays, but because in the big games this season, he's not fully shown up. He's not fully been at it. But Kovacic has made one hell of a difference to us. You look when he come on at Anfield, we were getting swamped, and then Kovacic come on and we got control of the game back. That's the impact Kovacic allows.
All right, let's go to Souls and Deo quickly. What are you guys saying about the Arsenal lineup? Pretty spot on, no?
Other than like maybe Thomas Partey coming in, maybe he's fit. I'm hearing.
I like
the lineup. I think if obviously like with the exclusion of, let's say, Thomas Partey, I do think Rice, Jorginho, Odegaard as a midfield is better against the bigger teams. At least against the smaller teams, I don't think you need to go that sort of defensive minded first. But even when you look at Declan Rice's ability to attack and go forward is exactly what we need. We need him to make those late runs into the box to make it harder for the likes of Diaz, Ake, Gvardiol and Akanji. And personally, I've actually said it, like even if Gabriel Jesus is fully fit to start, the only position he's starting is over Trossard. He ain't taking that Kai Havertz spot, because the reason why I say this, even in the Community Shield, I mean, Martin can obviously come in and he can give his opinions on this. Kai Havertz was one of the key reasons that disrupting what Man City were doing, especially like I remember like they had the first 20 minutes, so they were just passing it around. I was like, what the hell are we doing? I know it's technically like a preseason game and it's like you're still getting up to full fitness, but it wasn't up until Kai Havertz, I think he just like sort of hard tackled Diaz. After that, they couldn't get rhythm again. And that's what I like about Havertz. I feel like even though he may not be the most gifted footballer, he's such a disruptor. He's such a nuisance to defenders that he just causes enough issues for the other players like the Sakas, the Rices, the Trossards, Gabriel Martinelli, whoever it is, to actually do their thing. So I hope Kai Havertz starts. That's what I would want Arteta to do. But you know, obviously, I'd like to hear from like Martin and Dale to see kind of what
Yeah,
they think.
you know what? Let me hear from Martin on his take on Kai Havertz, because I know Deo what he's going to say on Kai Havertz. He's probably going to be picking him up. But Martin, you've seen Kai Havertz at Arsenal this season. Do you see a different Kai Havertz, and are you more concerned about him starting up top than Jesus, perhaps?
Oh yeah, and listen, you know, I watched Gabby for 3-4 years. I don't have faith in Gabby up top. Sorry, I don't. There was a reason we sold him. He wasn't clinical enough within the big games. Fine in the sort of I hate saying the word lesser games. I hate that word because you feel you're disrespecting the other opponents. But you know what I mean. When it comes to Champions League quarterfinals, semi-finals, Gabby just wasn't your guy. Same with Zinka. Great player, but you know, you go back to our Champions League games, Zinchenko was a lot of the cause that was going out in the games, which some of your fans are now starting to witness within some of your bigger games with him. He's got errors within him. He's far too emotional, and so is Gabba. Just a pair of emotional wrecks. But Kai Havertz, listen, he started off the season bit of a flop. Everyone was wanting him out, but see, I never judge players in 1 year. You can't judge a player in 4 or 5 months. I'm seeing it now with Doku and Gavardio. They've been here 4 months. Nobody goes into a new environment, new leagues, new teams, and just hits the ground running. You know, Haaland is generally was a phenomenal one with that. He was a bit of a weirdo with it. But Kai Havertz is certainly, for me, is more of a threat. Definitely.
Fair. Deo, what are you saying, man? Moving away from the Kai Havertz thing, do you think Trossard starts or George or do you think
I would start Gabby on the left. I would start Gabby on the left over Trossard for this game, just because of the fact that he can also be a big nuisance to defenders. Yes, he's not clinical. We all know that. But with him and Havertz pressing and causing problems for the defenders, that would free up a lot more people to do more damage. Free up Bukayo Saka, free up Odegaard, free up the midfield to actually press forward. Rice, doubling into that 8th position and then probably dropping back to help Jorginho as well. Gabby also knows how to drop into the midfield, which is great. So if I play him on the left, if he drops into the midfield, Havertz can go to that left-hand side, cause more problems for them. So I would start Gabby, and then if nothing, because we're playing Man City, and Man City is going to be it's a hard team to break down. If nothing happens in the first 45, say 50, 60 minutes, then maybe I bring in a Trossard to come and do the off the bench technical, stuff, technical work on that left-hand side. Still leave Havertz on, probably take Gabby out. And that's what I'll probably do. If Martinelli is fit, I'll bring Martinelli on then. But Trossard can do the business, but for this game, it's at the Etihad. At the Emirates, it's a different environment. There's a different type of energy at the Emirates. At the Etihad, it's yes, you will know you're at the Etihad. You know what I'm saying? Like that's so. But I need people that can actually cause a lot of problems up front, and that's why
I'm hearing from a few people that I know that the left wing spot is actually going to be a surprise tomorrow. So I don't know what to read into that. I don't know if it's a case of it's going to be Gabriel Martinelli and he is actually fit, or if it's going to be someone like an ESR coming in.
It could be Jesus.
No, he's not. That's not a surprise.
I think that would be.
No, he's done it before. No, a surprise for me would be like an Eddie Nketiah or someone like an ESR coming in and playing left wing. I think that's what a surprise, or someone who we thought was injured in terms of Gabriel Martinelli actually coming in and playing. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of like talk from the camps coming out as well. So it's interesting.
Maybe bringing in Timber and throwing somebody in front of him, man.
No way, Timber is playing this game.
I'm just wishful thinking now.
He might. He might be a part of the squad, but I don't think he's fit to start.
Yeah, I know. I'm just wishful thinking. I'm just being facetious.
Let me introduce Martin into this and just be like, Martin, we're not going to do a combined 11, but what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of look at the two teams and look at what do you think, where do you think your weaknesses are, and where do you think your strengths are that could potentially benefit you from now to the end of the season, or hurt you? Because I don't really know what your weaknesses are. I would say directly.
I mean, it's like the defense part. People think we're just the big thing that we are losing out on are balls over the top. Because if you go back to a lot of the games, a lot of the chances we conceded, the straight balls, 40-yard balls straight over the top. And we're not dealing with the first, second balls very well. That's the major thing. It's not teams aren't coming and breaking us up, like destroying us. You go back to the Derby. You watch the Rashford goal. They're the type of goals that we're getting done on. Straight, just balls straight over the top, bypass the midfield through, and we're not strong enough within the defence in that part. So, and then the other side is our chances rate is really off this season. We're about 13, 14, maybe even 15 goals down on where we were last season, and that's just down to chances. It's like we played Chelsea, Brentford, and somebody else, and we created 74 chances. You can't be creating 74 chances across 3 games and scoring 3 goals. That just is not there for it. You can't do it.
So yeah, you weren't clinical against Tottenham. You weren't clinical against Chelsea. You
been
weren't
like that all season ago
against Liverpool either. So you're saying your attack and your defense have been poor this season.
People think the defense has been poor. But statistically, we've conceded 1 goal more than this time last season. That's the baffling thing. The major stat that stands out is we're about 15 goals down on what we were this time last season. That's the standout stat that we've stuck on at the moment.
Okay, so you're not really worried about your defense against Arsenal. You're more worried about capitalizing on your opportunities. Is that correct?
No, listen, Arsenal are a top team. Of course, you got to be worried defensively. You've got players that can hurt you. 1,000%. To me, the key whole thing for the game tomorrow is midfield. It's midfield. It's going to be a complete and utter midfield battle. It's going to be an Odegaard, Rice, and Jorginho probably against, Rodri, maybe KDB and a Kovacic, for example.
Yeah,
that to me is why I'm playing Kovacic to stop, so he can do them transitions through.
Okay, let me bring Deo into this. Deo, you hear that midfield, Kovacic, what do you call it, Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne. You excited to hear about that trio, or do you feel like that's their best?
That's a tough midfield to play against. That's the truth. I mean, look, it's KDB. The thing about Kevin De Bruyne, I think I said this yesterday, and I think people didn't understand what I was saying. I said even though he's not playing like the Kevin De Bruyne of last season because of his injury and his fitness, he's still putting up the GA. Like, it's ridiculous how good he is. It is mind-blowing that you're not in form, but you're still performing. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of thing that you can expect from the Kevin De Bruyne. And Rodri, we all know, is the best. Is the best at what he does in that position, at least right now in the world. Kovacic for me is I think Kovacic is going to be the weak link for me in that midfield. That's the only person I see that, yes, he can do what he's brought in to do, but against the Rice and the Odegaard, I don't really see him holding them down. That's Kovacic, because last time we played them, he almost got a red card. Like the tackles, he should have got a red card, and that's just because he can't keep up with that style of play from our midfielder. So yeah, it's a tough midfield to play, but I think we can do the business there. I think we can do the business.
Do you know what it is? I think one of the biggest things that people are kind of overlooking with Man City is what Pep Guardiola said in the past about playing against us is the press triggers. Now, one of the things that we got told, like especially last time, the reason why is that Rob Holding was fixated on using and man marking Erling Haaland when we got beat. I think it was 4-0, 4-1, whatever it was at the Etihad. And the reason to that was naivety from Rob Holding. You could see he was touch tight. He was tight on Haaland, which then gave Kevin De Bruyne the opportunity to actually play as a striker and actually run in behind. And what Haaland was doing was just letting the ball bounce off of him to let Kevin De Bruyne do what he was doing. And I feel like now, given that is the defense where we've got Saliba, we've got Gabriel, it'll allow us to suffocate Man City better, because with that high line, I can trust those players to play the high line, especially with Kubo and Zinchenko. Ben White's a better defender than most players that we have as well. So we've got 4 basically centre backs who can defend first, and then the attacking ability. Well, we can always discuss that later, but that's what I think is going to be the key, is that we need Jorginho and the likes of Rice to actually come in and help out maintaining that, keeping the likes of Rodri's quiet, keeping the likes of a Kevin De Bruyne quiet. But it's going to be how we press. Because if, for example, we start pressing, let's say, De Bruyne, and Haaland now starts having success, we need to be smart. We need to be able to adapt, and we need the players to not to be like Arteta needs to tell them, like he needs to tell Rob Holding that, are you stupid or something? De Bruyne is the one scoring. Why are you still marking Haaland? Like, use your brain a little bit. And I think that's what's going to be key. It's player intelligence, but also the ability for the likes of Arteta and Pep to actually change their team structure, to change their team's ability. And who's going to have the balls to do the change first?
It is definitely going to be a tactical battle, but I just want to know, Martin, what is your approach in these big games this season? Is it full out like go for the team early, or are you guys very much like calm, cool, as the game goes, you grow into it?
So it's been very different this season. See, the trouble is with City, we tend to. This is my thing. People think that I go. I'm not this week. But I think from an outsider looking into a City, I don't think people fully understand what we do sometimes. We always start a season very sluggish, a little bit off the boil. And that's done on purpose. It's all done on purpose. Pep uses the first 4 months of a season. Yeah, because he's done it for 3-4 years now ago. For 3 or 4 years on the bounce, he's done it. So to me, that's.
So you guys start slow, or is he working on new systems?
Both. I think he uses the first 4 months as pre-season. Because if you look at our pre-season games, we play about 2. We don't actually play a lot of pre-season. We play 2 games, go into a world tour around showing trophies off. It's all the PR stuff. We then come back. It's why you look at our record in the Community Shield, it's awful. Because we're never ready. We're just not there. It's a very weird system. And then KDB got injured. It's not an excuse. It was just, it's this time right now is when City go to the next level. That's 9 times out of 10 when we go up. When we've got these quarterfinals, semi-finals. And that's why a lot of the time we are deep in every competition till near the end. Because we sort of sit there in second gear till about February, March, and then the foot goes down. Now, whether we can do that from now on, that I don't know, because we're not going to do that forever. You can't do that continuously for 5, 6, 7 years. You're going to get caught because teams improve, as Arsenal have done this year, again on last year, and Liverpool are also back. This is very weird. We're in a 3-horse title race here.
Liverpool are only a factor this season. Next season, they're going to drop off.
I don't know what Liverpool will do next year now. I do think they had their eggs in Alonso's basket.
And he's staying. So he's not going nowhere. I'm just going to ask Deo and Souls. Guys, talk to me. Do you think now that City have, John Stones and Kyle Walker out, do you think the players are looking at this game like they're there for the taking? Or do you think they were always going into the game same mentality? Because mentality has always been an issue for Arsenal going into these games against Man City.
I mean, mentality has always been an issue, but this season we've seen the first leg of this season played at the Emirates where the mentality was a totally different shift. And the stats actually are there to back it up that the game was very, very even between us. And I think the mentality against like even the Porto where we thought, okay, well, look, this is looking bad. The penalties, you could see how assured the players were when they were taking it. Of course, Raya was with a bit of luck went in the right direction. And we can call all that into, we can wrap all that into mentality. Like it's a different Arsenal. John Stones not playing and Kyle Walker not playing is going to, it hurts. It does hurt Man City, but we are talking about Man City here. They have other people that can fill that position. You know, a Man City team without John Stones and Kyle Walker is not a dead Man City team. Let's not fool ourselves. Let's not think that because those two are not playing, it's going to be an easier game. No, it's not. I mean, an Oscar Bob will come in and do business. I kid you not. Like you would be shocked. You know, so I think they're going to go in with the same kill or be killed mentality. I feel like that's the mentality you have to go in there with. You can't. You don't have to worry about who they have and who's not playing and who's fit and who's not fit because they can turn it up at any time. And we're talking about Pep Guardiola here. Arguably the greatest manager of our time right now.
Yeah.
Arguably the guy that can look at a game and decide, you know what, Gabriel, you go forward, Haaland, drop and play defense. And everybody's wondering what's going on before you know it's a goal. Arguably that kind of, like, that's that's who we're going up against. So our mentality just has to be top-notch peak. It's kill or be killed. There's no room for trying to figure out who's injured and who's not injured and how they're, because they can turn up at any time. So yeah, I think we'll go in with the right mentality, which is kill or be killed.
Okay. Souls, quick question, a slightly different question for you. Who scares you from City? Do you still have that fear factor?
100%. I mean, look, the Man City, they've been one of the best teams in Europe for the past, 5 seasons. So to say, like, we're not afraid of them or nothing scares us, I mean, especially with a full fit team with Kevin De Bruyne or Rodri, even someone like Haaland, who I think can be contained. I do think he's a I don't want to say one-dimensional player, but he's a very easy player. By cutting the supply to him, you do kind of mitigate what he can do. He's not an effect in terms of creating a goal for himself. He's more of he needs to be created for. But even that can be sometimes hard when you've got players like Bernardo Silva, for example, Kevin De Bruyne, the likes of Phil Foden, the form that they're coming in. I feel like it'd be naive for anyone or any of us to say that there isn't a bit of fear or nerves, or even though we're confident. I don't want to say like we can't be confident going into this game, but there is going to be a bit in the back of your mind that's going, yeah, this game could go any way. We could either beat them 2-1, they could beat us 2-1, it could go 5-1 to one team, it could go 5-1 the other way. Like, I think this is the perfect time for both teams to actually play each other. I wanted to play City a few months back, because I feel like they would have better play in a worse place than we were. And I feel like they've started to now kick a little bit. They've clicked in a bit. They've started to find their players back. Rodri's obviously not had those suspensions. De Bruyne has had a few games under his belt. Edison seemingly is back. So it's difficult, man, because even someone like Edison, can ping a ball from his own half and find someone like a Haaland to sprint onto it. So we've just got to be tight, man. We've got to make sure that we understand the threat they bring. We can't underestimate them. I don't think we're going to, but we also have to look at the factor of it's the Etihad. As much as people are going to sit there and say plastic fans, this, that, the other, it's still a homegrown advantage. Like, they are going to sit there and they're going to cheer their teams on. Any event that happens, for example, like if a De Bruyne gets into a scuffle with, let's say, Declan Rice, for example, that can turn the tide as well. We've seen what an atmosphere can do for a team. So we've got to keep them quiet. We can't let them get any momentum at all. We may even need to try and kill this game in the first 5 minutes by scoring a goal and silencing the Etihad, quietening that stadium down as much as we can. So that's going to play a factor as well. I don't think it's just the players. I think this game, you can't pinpoint it to a Kevin De Bruyne. You can't pinpoint it to because remember what happened in the FA Cup? Akanji scored. We kept everyone quiet, but who thought Akanji was going to do what he did? Bottom corner, finessed it. So
he almost scored at the Emirates also. He's the only person who got a shot. So I was just going to say.
Thanks for reminding me on that, go. 2 yards out, Edda. Thanks for reminding me.
Hey, it was your only shot of the game. I was just going to say, though, there's somebody who's going under what do you call it?
The radar.
Under the radar. Bernardo Silva. Where is he going to be playing for you guys? If is he going to be starting on the right and Foden's going to be on the left? How is it going to work?
I don't know. He starts. I don't know if he starts.
Really? Explain.
Because if you're going to play Grealish or Kovacic, someone has to come out.
I would be happy to see Bernardo Silva on the bench. I don't know if the rest of the boys.
No, but see, I've always Bernardo Silva is a phenomenal player. Absolutely, you are right. Goes under the radar by every single, well, pundits. He goes under the radar with proper fans who know ball. Everyone knows how good he is, and everyone would have him within the team. That he's one of them players where doesn't get. But this season, I don't know what it is. He's not been poor, but he's not been his normal self. Now I don't know if that's Pep's tweaking of systems. Because if you go back, do you remember when we did the 3 each with Spurs, 4 each with Tottenham, 1 each with Liverpool? Those 3 consecutive games. Pep changed it. Because there was a lot of, you go back, there was no control in them games. Honestly, go back and watch them. It was a basketball game.
Yeah.
And we all sat there and went, this is very unlike Pep Guardiola. What's he doing here? And Bernardo Silva was basically camped up on the halfway line and never came back, which was very unlike him. Never does it. And Rodri then was all on his own in the midfield. He was isolated. So that's why we were getting 3s and 4s conceded, because it was so un-Pep-like. It was madness. We were all going, what's he doing this for? Is it to prove? But at the time, that was when we were doing the Doku versus Grealish debates online, which wound me completely.
I'm pretty sure neither of them have won. Neither of them have won that debate yet.
To me, if you're in a shirt, you'll be the same at Arsenal. If you're in an Arsenal shirt, you back them. You're in a City shirt, you back them. I don't do this, my guy's better than your guy. We all play for our same club. Bro, I don't get this mentality of following players in 2024.
I remember
it amazes me.
Last year, Zinchenko versus what do you call it? Tierney. It was a war. It was a battle.
I know, but they're both wearing the Arsenal shirt.
No,
so don't you want either of them to be great?
You know these things happen. Fans have favorites, and then they battle for those favorites.
I feel like having a productive conversation on who could be better for your system isn't necessarily like the versus battle, but I do know what you mean. That there are hardcore like, nah, this is my guy, this is the guy who. But saying like a player needs to start over a certain player, I think that's fine. But I just don't think you need to put down the other player in favor.
Yeah, that's the point.
Like every player brings something to the squad, and depending on who you're playing, you can decide like this is the person that actually suits this team. Would play better against this team, and that was something that I was discussing with someone recently, and he's an Arsenal fan, and we got into it, and I said I'm not comparing Leandro Trossard and Havertz, for example. I'm just saying the output of goals are the same. But Trossard is a forward, and Havertz is a midfielder, an attacking midfielder. Sometimes you play him in the forward position, and I said
Trossard's more clinical.
Yeah, and I said if you go and look at all season, all the 29 games, they've both played center forward position 5 times apiece. Both of them have, so 5 times apiece. They both play center forward, and their goal output is the same. So for me, depending on who you're playing and when you're playing, that's when you drop those kind of players in. Like, but they all play for Arsenal. I'm not going to sit there. So it's things like
there's an old saying. Sorry, there's an old saying that my mate tells me.
Yeah.
Different keys for different locks.
Ooh.
There's certain games where you're going to need a docker. So if you're playing, like when we were playing Bournemouth early on in the season, they came, as you probably got the Emirates now, flat back 10. So you're like, right, well, there's no point in doing control, because control only gets you so far at that point now. Because you're still going to hit that wall at some point. So, but that's where you bring in your Doku, because he's fast, he's pacey, he's unpredictable. He'll go round the back. He'll hit the byline. So that's when you can use a Doku. When you're playing at like a United away or somewhere, that's where you want your Grealish, for the ball control, to slow it down, keep the ball. Because the idea of keep ball for Manchester City is push the opposition out of all their positions. Keep the ball for 5 or 10 minutes, go left to right, right to left, forward, backwards, and at some point, someone breaks cover. Then the gap comes, then the ball goes. That's where the chances then become. But there's certain games, certain teams you do that with. Other teams, you can't do it. Okay. So it's choosing the right thing. But totally with David, it's not so much the my guy, basically, because you can do that, but it's the putting your guy up, but putting the other guy down at the same time. It's like you don't need to put him down. Just big up your lad. You don't need to say, I hope he gets an ACL or gets sold.
Nah,
No point
that's
in that.
people on Twitter. That's people on Twitter. That's not.
But
real
yeah,
people.
That's wild.
exactly.
That's wild. That's
Nobody,
wild.
nobody wishes anybody injuries. Even when Rodri.
Oh no,
was-
we had that. We had that with Grealish. But fans were hoping he was out for the whole season when he got declared injured.
I
I'm like,
remember
what am I
somebody
reading?
said, I remember somebody hoping Zinchenko got injured on Twitter before the game against Liverpool this season. Like, I hope he doesn't play, but it is what it is. Certain people are just not normal when it comes to their way of analyzing games and speaking about players. They become very malicious.
Because they're sat on the sofa just looking at stats. There we go.
Hey,
Don't
listen,
do eye test or anything.
don't talk bad about SofaScore. They're the channel sponsor.
Hey, no, I would nothing against overscore, but you get fans who only rely on statistics,
Yeah,
and that's how they run their
Some
game.
people don't. You guys know, the younger generation, they don't sit there and watch the game. They just watch highlights.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
like
that.
my what do you call it? Wife's cousin. He's a big Man United fan. He watches every highlight of every
But
game.
it's a United though, isn't it? I ain't watching
He doesn't watch the game. But his brother is a Chelsea fan. He sits there and watches the game.
But look at who they support. Come on, you can't.
But
I don't blame him.
if he misses the game, he's not going to watch the game back. He's just going to watch the 15-minute highlights and never watch the full 90.
Yeah, but it's Chelsea and United. Come on, can you blame them?
I know, but then how do you analyze your team properly? Like that's the thing that kills me. It's like
Do you really want to analyze United and Chelsea? Like
No.
really?
But my point is, if you're a fan of a club
Gunnar
and,
Solskjaer is mean.
and for 38 games, you only sit there and watch about 5 of them. Are you really like?
No, but
watching
Gunnar
it?
Solskjaer, the problem is, they're the loudest fans online.
Yeah.
They're the ones who go in and tell everyone what to do. And you're like, well, what's 5 minutes of it? So how are
No.
you telling me what's going on?
It's like if you guys watch the NBA and you don't sit there and actually watch the full games and you just watch highlights of players dunking, you're never going to know what the hell is actually going on.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
might
yeah,
know
100.
you might know who won and who scored, but it's never going to be that good. And then
Yeah.
we got Hussam in the building saying Martin looking fresh like a Menk Andrew Tate. What?
You can take the Andrew Tate bit part back. I'll take the first bit. I'm not having the Andrew Tate.
There you go. Yeah, he's not a fan of that part. But hey, let's get into this. Are you worried about potentially getting Arsenal in the Champions League or more against Bayern? Would you rather face Arsenal? Or
Yeah,
Bayern?
no, I don't want Arsenal. It's too emotional. It's too emotional. And trust me now, in the Champions League, you want to avoid all English clubs. You want to avoid all English clubs because it doesn't become a Champions League game then. It becomes 2 Premier League games. We did this with Liverpool. It ends up, and Hussam will notice, it doesn't. A Champions League game is very different to a completely Premier League game. Completely different. So, but if you end up, we had it with Liverpool and Tottenham, everyone gets emotional. It turns into end-to-end basketball games, and you don't want that in the Champions League. The last thing you need is that in the Champions League. If you look at every time,
what you're saying, Martin, is because it's emotional now. You want Bayern to beat us, right? This is not nice. This is not nice, Martin.
Yeah, but no, from an Arsenal point of view, you won't want us in the Champions League. Trust me, been there and done it on 3 occasions.
I agree, but I don't mind playing you again because I know what team I'm playing. You know something like to be honest.
No, because we won't. We don't play the same. That's what I'm saying. You don't play the same in the Champions League.
Understand what I'm saying, Martin? I'm not saying you play the same. I'm saying that because it's Man City, it's an easier pill to look at. It's going to be a different game, but it's easier to say, Man City than Madrid, because Madrid is a different beast entirely that you have to face. So my perspective would be as a fan to say, hey, we played Man City 3 times already this season. Playing them a 4th time won't hurt. It's going to be a different game. It's the Champions League. They're going to come different and come correct. We might lose to them in the Champions League, not a problem. But knowing that it's Man City, it's an easier pill to swallow of the two. Like to face. That's what I'm saying. Mentality wise,
either Real Madrid or Man City for me, it has the same effect for me. I don't think either is going to be something that, like, if we beat them, I'm going to be just as happy beating them. and I'm going to be able to take it on the chin just as much. Because like, if you lose to Real Madrid, they are Mr. Champions League. They are the Champions League club. They are the one to be. And then if you lose to City, well, I mean, you've lost to a City side that's been arguably one of the best sides in the history of the English football. Like, they're on course for a 4-peat, which has never been done before. They've just come off the back of a treble. Like, I don't think losing to either is like I can take one more than the other.
It's not that. It's not like what I meant by that is because think about this as like from a fighting point perspective. So I'll give you an example. If I've been in a final in a judo fight with a particular fighter and he's beat me 2-3 times, and then next year I go back into another competition and it's that fighter or another great fighter, I'm like, you know what? I fought this guy 3-4 times. Maybe I can try against him.
I get what you mean.
Like
No,
that.
but one second, you guys have to look at it from his perspective. I was asking him as a City fan who you'd rather face. He beat Bayern last year, so he would obviously want to avoid Arsenal. It makes sense. And for us, we've never lost to Real Madrid, but do we really want to face Real Madrid? I hear Deo's point also.
No, I kind of do. You know, I feel like us playing Real Madrid is better for us.
I don't want to play either of them. I wish we could skip.
Let's focus on the Etihad. 1 second. Let's focus on the Etihad. Let's bring it back. Big up Martin for joining us, of course. We're now going to do the prediction point of the video and just talk about what we think is going to happen. But Matt, welcome joining us. I seen you commented, so I'm going to send you the link. Give us your thoughts, bro. What are you saying? How you think the game's going to go? Are you worried? Are you scared? Are you confident?
I think I'm quietly confident. I'm quietly confident because I'm expecting a fully fit squad pretty much against a City side that kind of, you know, are lacking their defense a little. You know, their defense isn't as good as it used to be. And they've got some key players out as well. And just the mentality that we're heading into this game at, I'm just quietly confident. Like, I'm quietly confident about the game. Okay. And that's crazy because, like, we always get slaughtered there. So, like, it's kind of like the Tottenham game away last season. Like for some reason, I was just quietly confident about that game. I was like, heading into this game, I was just quietly confident, and I think it's going to be the same.
Yeah, we got channel regular here saying I'm quietly confident and things we are going to press hard all game. 1-0 first half, 3-0 up third. What?
I don't think it's going to be that like.
That's
dominant.
not going to happen, mate. It's not going to be a 3-0.
We're against Pep Guardiola here. We're not against, you know, like fucking David
Kabuti. I think 3-0 is a little bit rich. We're gonna leave it to Martin late. But what do you say, Matt? What's your prediction though? Score.
See, my heart is 2-0. Clean sheet, 2-0 away from home.
No way. City have scored every home game.
I know, but look at our defense though. But
Martin, you don't have a rebuttal for that?
Sorry?
I'll just we'll wait and see on it. And listen, I get the confidence, but City scored at the Etihad. City scored at the Etihad.
What's your score?
I'm thinking 2-1. 2-1 Arsenal.
Martin, what are you saying? What do you think is going to happen?
See, now you got upset with my score, but you didn't let me explain my point of it. I said 3-1, but I think it'll be 2-1, like up until like the 88th minute. You're then pushing for the equaliser, and that's when we'll get the third one. So it's not a 3-1 is in, a 3-1 routing. It's I'm not expecting Haaland to take his hairband out again and put it in the bottom corner. I'm not saying he's going to do that one again. But, by the way, Haaland has tweeted on Instagram, ready for weekend. You don't want him put in Instagram.
Hey, he's not up against Rob Holding. Remember that.
He's up against Saliba and Gabriel.
Man like Saliba, yeah.
So in case you guys missed it, Martin went 3-1. Matt, you went 2-1.
2-1.
And then I want to know what Souls is saying, because Souls said some crazy stuff in the summer, like when we were playing Man United.
Do you know what? I respect Man City in it. Like, I know a lot of people bring up their charges and whatnot and like try and put them down. At the end of the day, look, they are the example of modern day football. They are the example of like what every club wishes they can be. So you have to respect them. I'm not going to sit here and go, we're going to absolutely whitewash them. We're going to absolutely beat them just because we're playing very well and they look a bit disjointed. This is Man City, man. Don't look at Man City's form and dictate what's going to happen next. Pep, can switch this team up. and demolish a 7-0, even in our current form. He can turn the team into a 12-0 winning machine. So I'm not. Do you know what it is? Like, it's weird because right now, if you ask me, I don't feel nervous, but I don't feel confident. I don't feel anything. I don't know what it is. It's a weird one. Like, I'm excited, but I don't really feel anything. Like, I'm not scared. I'm not excited. I'm not like anything. I'm just like, I just don't know how to feel. Like, I don't know what emotion I'm going through. So on that basis, man, I mean, look, we've got a pretty decent squad. Like, we've got maybe a few exclusions, but they've also got a few exclusions. So with that in mind, I can never predict a draw or a loss for us. So I'm gonna go 2-1.
2-1. Deo.
You know where I stand about this. I'm going to say, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it clearly. I think most people just need to hear it. I respect Man City. I respect Pep Guardiola. I respect the Etihad. I respect the players that they have, but I'm not afraid of them. That's the difference. I am not afraid of them, and there's no better time for this Arsenal team to go there and get a win. So I'm going to stick with my scoreline again. I predicted a 3-1 victory, and I believe strongly that that's what it is. It's 3-1. We're going to get the third goal in the last minute, and it's going to be Gabby Jesus.
Can I quickly say something? If you're correct, I'll PayPal you 10 quid. I'll PayPal you 10 quid.
10 quid is
And
nothing.
I'm an Arsenal fan, right? But
Hang on, he's added a caveat. He's put Gabby scored in the last minute.
But what
I
was
think
that
I have
about
this
it?
score.
What score did he say? What did he
3-1.
say?
3-1.
Oh, okay.
Similar to Martin, he's hoping for
Yeah.
a late winner or a dominant 3-1.
He's even put it on there.
Deo, clear it up. Is it similar to Martin, late winner, or a dominant 3-1? What do you say?
Look, a late winner. That's like the Gabby Jesus late winner for the 3-1.
You reckon he's gonna put one of their players on their ass like they did Dallo?
No.
Or
And
like, what do you think?
what I said yesterday was actually because we're going to be 2-1 up, they're going to push forward higher. There's not going to be anybody. There's just going to be Gabby who gets to drop in, and it's going to be Gabby 1-on-1 with the goalie.
I
Like
just want to have this hat trick. I don't even care. I want to have this score.
and it's Kai Havertz, Gabby, and Bukayo Saka.
Honestly,
Okay,
I actually
so-
think that Kai Havertz and Saka score. I don't know about Jesus.
I think this is how the game's going to go. And I want to know what Martin thinks. I think the game is going to go like this. First half is going to be a situation where Arsenal shock Man City and come out and get a first half goal from Bukayo Saka, cut back to a Martin Odegaard or something like that. Bukayo Saka pass to Kai Havertz or somebody cut back into the box and it's a goal. Then City counter, not with the Erling Haaland goal, not with the Kevin De Bruyne goal, but Phil Foden, one of those strikes from the left side, from outside the box from distance. It's just going to be one of those. They get a goal from distance and they beat Raya from a long shot because we know Raya has a weakness and it's his long shot, right? And then second half, this is where I think the second half is going to where things are going to get interesting. I think City and Arsenal both have plenty of chances, miss numerous clear-cut opportunities to make it 2-1, and then Arsenal get a late winner. And I've changed my prediction from your show, Martin, where I said 2-2, and I now think Arsenal are going to go win with the injuries. And of course, me hearing that Martinelli might be available, I think it's going to be a ball over the top to Martinelli, one-on-one, and then he plays it back for a Kai Havertz winner. And I think the whole country is going to go crazy. Because if City lose at home, then people are finally going to say Arsenal are no longer pretenders. Because in order to be the champs, you have to beat the champs. And if we beat you twice, I think we're going to go on to win it. I think if you lose, I think it's over.
Oh, we're out. Yeah, we're completely out if we lose.
And I think if you win, you guys are now favorites to go win it.
Plus, I'm not overly. Oh, if we win, I think we'll go on and win the remaining games.
And if we draw,
I do just want to quickly say something, right? I feel like we need to not lose. Like if we draw, I feel like we're still in the race. But if we lose, I think it's done. I think it's done.
If it's
We
a draw,
should
you're
go
handing
and
it
not
to
lose.
Liverpool.
I don't think
Is
it's
anyone
done.
else thinking? Is nobody else not liking the way Liverpool fans are being so quiet at the moment? They're being so quiet and they're like just lurking in a shadow, and I don't like it.
Let them, because I don't think Liverpool fans have as much confidence as we do in our
Yeah.
team winning. Do you guys agree? Deo, Souls?
Yeah, agree.
You guys worry about Liverpool as much as you do?
Yeah, but this is the first time there's a 3-horse race in a very long time. So I mean, I think there's been like a 3-horse race in the last 20 years, like twice only.
No,
And
I'm
so-
asking you, do you worry about Liverpool as
So
much
yeah,
as
so I
you
worry
about
about so I worry about them because it's a 3-horse race. It's
as
like,
much as
Hey,
you
Gal,
worry
you know
about
what?
Liverpool?
Egal, they know what they're doing, mate. They know what to do in these
Yeah.
run-ins. They've been there, they've done it. They know what they're doing. It's Klopp's last thing, and there's a
But
little.
people
No
say
one's
they've done
ever
it, right?
mentioned
They've
this.
only done it once. They've only done it
No,
once.
no,
Yeah, but hang on. That's because City was so 97 points. You can't say is a flop of a season.
No, I'm not.
99 out of 100.
Win
They're
this
winning the
one.
league on it. Nice. Honestly, and by another thing, Liverpool always. Don't know if anyone's noticed this. They're generally the strongest team alongside City to finish the season. Liverpool
true.
finished the season damn strong normally. Because you
But
look
you
at the
know-
back end
you
of the
know we're on an
season,
eight-
they weren't fourth.
But you
You
do
weren't
realize
there.
we're on an 8-game winning streak. We're on the largest winning streak in the league right now. Like, if we win this game, the momentum of this win alone could push us on to go win.
No,
the
no,
league.
and I agree. I agree. No, but the question was, do I fail Liverpool? Of course I do. Of course I do.
Souls,
I
you
fail
feel
all three, but
Liverpool?
to me, it's whoever loses.
No, look, the thing is with Liverpool, right, is you've got to look at their team, right? They're unified. They are, fighting for each other. They're fighting for every point that they can. Trent Alexander-Arnold's been out. Robertson's been out. Salah's been out. They've had so many exclusions, but despite that, they're still pushing. They're still in that race. They're still, competing against City. They're still competing in these games. Last-minute winners. Darwin Núñez is stepping up as well. So they've got the likes of Salah back. They're getting the likes of Trent back. Conor Bradley, for example, coming up. Look at the young kids, for example. We got beat by 2 young kids. So at the end of the day, right, like when you start to see what they're doing, sometimes, yeah, like the emotions can carry you through. They can also be your downfall, but they can also be the motivator to get you through certain games. And like knowing that there's a higher cause than just winning the Premier League. It's not just winning a Premier League, it's winning Premier League for arguably one of their best managers in over like 3-4 decades, coming in and absolutely rejuvenating the whole city, let alone like what you've got to understand about Liverpool, right? It's not just a football club, it's their city. They're really proud of who they are. And like for Klopp to come in and show that pride as an outsider, let's call him, right? To come in and show that, he understands what it is to be a Scouser. You can't take that away from them. They are one of the most unique football teams and footballing fans. Even though they're not globally big, they don't have the biggest of fan bases, but their fan base is strong because of a community. And that you can't take away from them. They are fighting for that badge. And that alone is enough for them to be in this race. And they've got the quality, don't forget, and they've got the experience. I don't care they've done it once. It's not once. Every single time they competed with Man City, they win the league. If it wasn't for City, they dominate every single Fergie era. They dominate every single Wenger era. They dominate every single period of Premier League football. They've broken records for City to just break them in the same season. It's crazy. You can't put them down, man.
You can't.
Like, they're a
You
threat.
can't. Yeah. But I want to show you something that I predicted 7 weeks ago.
Husam's ears are ringing.
I don't know if you can see this on my Facebook here. So a friend of mine posted this. Chelsea can't do us any favors, blah blah blah. And look at the first post. That's me. I said we're beating Liverpool 3-1, and he said amen, amen. This was 7 weeks ago. This was February the 3rd and February the 4th. We played Chelsea Liverpool that day, and we beat them 3-1. And I know why I said what I said. So this prediction that I just made about Man City.
Worst case scenario, it's a
coming
draw. Worst case scenario, it's a draw. Do you guys believe Liverpool will drop points from now to the end of the season?
Liverpool can. I think we
Nah.
all can.
Everybody can drop
Wait,
points.
what? Worst case scenario is a loss. What?
I think worst case scenario for both of us, if
Okay.
if we draw and
Yeah.
Liverpool are now in the advantage,
Yeah.
like it's going to be a situation where they're in the driver's seat, and one of us are going to have to hope they drop points. But yeah, we've seen City before. Have you guys even got into your end of season mode yet, or are you in it right now, Martin?
Yeah, we're 22 games unbeaten in all comps. Not lost a game since December.
Nobody talks
So
about
December the
that.
6th. Oh, I do. Listen, I boast about it all day long. Nobody talks about City being undefeated in Europe for 18 months. But you know
What? You
hear
haven't
about
lost
it.
a game in Europe in 18 months.
Nope.
No,
Hey,
listen,
I've been begging for me goal. I've
They
been
won the
I've been begging for me. I've been begging for me golden UCL. It's not coming out yet. No one wants to give it. Won the Champions League undefeated.
You get
No,
the Champions League. You're fucking grateful for that.
You were invincible.
We've not lost
Yeah.
in 18 months. Plus, every game this season in the Champions League, we've scored 3 goals.
That changes
Don't
if you
look
beat Real Madrid and you face us.
Oh man, you know what? We gotta beat you guys, Martin. Man, give us one league title, man. You've had enough.
But hold like Igal, let's do the math. though. Let's say worst
Sorry.
case scenario. Let's say worst case scenario is a draw, right? That means
Yeah.
we get 1 point, they get 1 point. Let's say Liverpool wins, Liverpool gets 3 points, so we're 2 points behind Liverpool.
But like in terms of Man City, I think that
Then Man
they
City
would've
we'll still
wanted
be
to draw
we'll be 2
small.
points behind Liverpool.
You
And
wanna
Man
know
City
something?
will be,
okay.
Call me crazy, but this title race, even if Liverpool, even if we win or if we lose, neither team I think is out. The only team that people are gonna say is out is City, but that's
Yeah.
because they're in the Champions League. I think if Arsenal lose, I still think we have a shot to win it because we're only 3 points behind.
Nah, I don't know.
3 points is not that crazy. 4 points might be a little bit.
Yeah,
of a
but
stretch.
honestly,
Look at
Gal,
the-
Champions League, the latter stages changes things. Totally
Yeah.
changes mentalities around.
We're gonna have to wrap it up here, guys. So I'm gonna say 2-1 Arsenal. Souls, you've said
2-1.
Deo
bam.
3-1. Martin
3-1 set.
and Matt 2-1 Arsenal. That's it
2-1.
for today, guys. Big up Martin for jumping on. I really do appreciate it. Big up Matt, big up
Martin.
Deo, big up Souls. I know it's Ramadan, guys, so make sure you guys keep taking advantage of it. And of course, the blessed month of Ramadan. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I got 2 streams right after the match. I'm going to be streaming on here, and I'm also going to be streaming at 11 o'clock doing vibes from the 6. If Martin, you got anything coming up tomorrow? You got a match reaction or watch along?
I've got loads going on. I'm on Footy Judge Mo straight after. LB's mine, never a foul in that order tomorrow night.
Easy.
If I
Easy.
can get my internet back, I've got an engineer coming in the next 45 minutes to actually try and fix my modem. So
Yeah.
It needs to
gonna-
get
Yeah,
on the match.
literally, my whole stream tomorrow is down onto this engineer in the next hour.
Fucking hell. Anyways, guys, we're out of here. Deo, Souls, Matt, I'll catch you guys soon, eh?
Oh man, peace.